There are times in American history when that was absolutely true, when there was an effort to simply eradicate Indian peoples.
It had to be so confusing to them what the resources were that the white man wanted too. Because they're like, why do you want gold? When they initially tried to move the natives to reservations, how did were they doing it because where the natives were, there was valuable resources? Were they doing it because geographically they could control them better in these regions? Like, what was the motivation initially?
It was all of that, yeah. Certainly they were, especially when they're in particular places that are very rich in resources. The great examples, of course, were mining rushes. These people who were, again, hunter-gatherers living in this remote mountain area up in California or Arizona or wherever. Suddenly, they're overrun by these people coming in, overrun because they are living on some of the richest places in the nation. So you got to get rid of them, right? But there's also the reason that this is a way to control them and to, in the eyes of the government, to transform them, right? Put them on these reservations and you can turn them into the kind of people that you want them to be. Yeah. Make them American. Right? And that's what, so it was both of those things together.
Which is historic, like when we look back at it now, it's like one of the most horrific aspects of it, that we just try to eliminate them and just integrate them into our culture.
Right. That was always the formal government goal.
It wasn't simply give them a place to live the way they live. It was not.
No. Virtually no one was saying that.
Jeez.
Even the people who were called, it's sort of a formal term, Friends of the Indians. They were an organization called the Friends of the Indians. And they were, honestly, in their own hearts, they thought that they were doing what was necessary for the best for these people. But this was, they said the only way we can do that, the only way that these people can be saved, is to transform them into people like us, to make them into our, to integrate them into our culture. And that depended on really basically three things. They had to become farmers, because, from the beginning in this country, that's sort of the ideal life. That's how you begin your integration into the American economy. Farming, the Jeffersonian vision, of the ideal farmer. They got to be Christian. They have to have this common religion and education. We've got to take their young people and we've got to put them in schools where they will be not only learn the basics of the 3 R's and so forth, but they'll be culturally educated. Yeah, they will be culturally transformed. So these boarding schools were meant to transform these people into Americans. But so yeah. So you often hear the term genocide thrown around, and there are times in American history when that was absolutely true, when there was an effort to simply eradicate Indian peoples. But the whole reservation system was not meant for that. Sometimes it turned out that way. But the purpose of it was this control and transformation. That's what was supposed to happen. And then when that happened, once that was done, then the reservations would be done away with. Everybody would live in harmony.
Wow.
It didn't happen, of course. But
of course. It had to be so confusing to them what the resources were that the white man wanted too. Because they're like, why do you want gold? You can't eat it. You can't use it as a weapon.
Yeah.
So strange.
It is. In a lot of ways it is.